Alright, so we're now 1 month away from Gladiator II releasing in theaters. It comes out on November 22nd, and with that, critics and press got to see the movie early yesterday, and now with the early reactions that now landed online, and even now for what we're seeing here, I think the 2024 might close out with a banger, as people are calling this a masterpiece, brilliant performances, or like best film of the year, and we're not sure. And so in this video, I'm going to be going over the early reactions that were posted, and tell you guys what my expectations are and what should be on your minds going into this film as well. And so if you're new, then be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future bits. But now, let's get into these reactions. And now, with this first one that comes from Scott and Mendelson, and he says, Gladiator II is Ridley Scott's best film since The Martian, a big, bloody, and badass action spectacle that builds upon the legacy of the original. The film showcases beautiful set pieces and a lot of epic battles. Paul Mescal shines, Denzel Washington chews up the scenery quite a bit here, and it looks like he is having the time of his life here. And then it continues on. It should be also noted that Joseph Quinn continues to impress here. Quinn takes command of the screen in every scene in which he appears. I do wish there was more of him, as well as Pedro Pascal, who is also great, but only he has like 15 to 20 minutes of screen time. And now, for what this is like saying here, is that it has beautiful set pieces and badass action and like the beautiful scenery, and best film since The Martian, which like that film is directed by Ridley Scott. It's also like the best film out there too. But even with this reaction, like saying that it's like a big action spectacle that builds upon the legacy of the original. And plus, so we all know the original Gladiator with Russell Crowe, and it's one of his best performances. But just with the film overall, and just calling it that, I think we are in for a treat here, and I can't wait for the most awesome action sequences to go down in that arena. And now, with this next one that comes from Andrew Salazar, who is from Discussing Film, and he says, Gladiator 2 works best as an acting showcase for Paul Mescal, Denzel Washington, and Joseph Quinn. It's largely uneven and lacks the emotional punch of the first film. However, Ridley Scott's direction is unhinged, framing this as an epic Roman opera. The visuals get the job done. And now, even just with those words like lacks some a bit of the original, and we don't know how these films are. They get screened like a month early, like months in advance, probably at like big film festivals, and they often come out. It's saying like a pretty little negative stuff. But me, I'm going into this movie very optimistic, and like not having all that in my head, like with having that mindset. But just with this one negative review, while also having a few good positive things to say about it, I think we're in for like a good time here. But at least it's one negative flaw that this says here. And now with this next one, it comes from Eric Anderson, and he says, Gladiator 2 is a true epic and Ridley Scott's best in years. Paul Mescal is a great action star without sacrificing his indie gift, a worthy heir to the throne. Denzel Washington eats every line and costume without ever overplaying. And wow, even with this one, it says Ridley Scott's best film in years, and it says like Paul Mescal's a great action star in the making, and we've all seen that, but just based on everything that we've seen so far from the trailers, and it's a beautiful score that's going to be portrayed as this, especially like in the film, and people are saying that Denzel Washington might win an Oscar for this. I mean, I can definitely see that, but even though with the flaws from the last reaction, and I think this one is definitely good, but again, I am still hyped. And now this next one comes from Drew Taylor. He's from The Wrap, and he says, Rest easy Romans. Gladiator 2 is a kind of large-scale filmmaking excellence only Ridley Scott could quarrel. Everything about it just works, big and maverick vibes in its ability to conjure the past while adding something new. Bold, muscular filmmaking from a legendary talent. And just wow, especially with those terms like large-scale filmmaking, have big Maverick vibes, and also referring to Top Gun Maverick, while a Maverick and Rooster were conjuring the past themselves of what happened in the original. But I think with the sequel, it is going to touch upon like the past from the first movie of what happened, while also adding new stuff to the table, and that's what I like to see here. I think it is going to touch upon the past because again, it is a sequel to a movie that came out 20 years ago, but also it's going to keep on adding new material without touching upon the past too much. And wow, this is exactly what I like to see here. I want to also add is with like it's gonna go large in scale that we haven't seen before. It's gonna be adding like new stuff that we never even seen before, and I think that this one is going to be deserved to be seen on the big screen for what we're hearing, especially from the people behind the scenes. What Ridley Scott has cooked up, and I'm just ready. And now this next one comes from Griffin Schiller, and he says, Ridley Scott returns to the Colosseum to prove to the world that he's still got it. Absolutely buzzing after Gladiator II, an epic Shakespearean tale of hope, fertility, and power within a crumbling system. Denzel feasts in a show-stopping Mescalian performance. What a picture. And then it continues on with the last thing that has to say. Get ready to crown your best supporting actor, Denzel Washington. And wow. Just with that reaction alone, it just gets me hyped, and the fact that these reactions are all to talk about Ridley Scott here, because again, like this man is like a masterful filmmaker. He's made some of the best films out there, like especially with Alien, The Martian, and also Gladiator as well. It's returning to this world of medieval times of people fighting in the arena, and that's what I like to see. And now, with this last one that comes from Scott Mance, and here's what he had to say. He said, Gladiator II is indeed the real deal, an epic sequel worthy of its Oscar-winning predecessor. Great action, amazing visual effects, stellar performances across the board, especially Paul Mescal and Denzel Washington. It returned to form for director Ridley Scott. I was entertained, and wow, just with this last reaction alone, and just gets me hyped, and the fact that he said at the end, I was entertained, and that's what this whole tagline for the sequel is going to be: prepared to be entertained. We all know that these people are going to shine in this movie, especially with Pedro Pascal, Paul Mescal, and Denzel Washington, and I can't wait to see these two fight in the arena. For what I also believe that this movie has so much potential to go into award season and to win some Oscars. And wow, just based on these early reactions that we are seeing here for Gladiator 2, and I think not only is it on its way to succeed at the box office, but this has some potential for some Oscar winners, specifically for Denzel Washington, Paul Mescal, and even with Pedro Pascal. I mean, I am hyped, sign me up. And then this film comes out on November 22nd, and not only that, but this film is competing against Wicked, and this is the adaptation of the Broadway musical, and with Paramount again, the word of mouth this early on, it sounds like this movie has a chance of success, and we are right on it as we know it. Yeah, so I am hyped, and I can't wait to see it myself, and hopefully this type of early reactions like promises of what the film is going to deliver, and I hope it does as well. But that's going to do it for this video. Just let me know in the comments below, and what are your thoughts on these early reactions, and how excited are you for Gladiator 2? Just let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe and turn on notifications for future videos, and also follow all my social medias over the link down below. And with that, I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.